Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Local news, politics, business, sports, arts, music. Mike and Marty on the beat. Mike and Marty. Mike and Marty.
Good morning, Bellas Falls and Keene. Welcome to the feed. It's Mike and Marty. We're here today with Chad Illingworth. We're going to be talking about a lot of things happening with the Alumni Association and Bellas Falls High School, and and the return of winter.
Winter.
Winter 3.0. But first, Marty with local events.
Local events. So there'll be no movies this week. No classic movies, no regular movies at the Opera House because if I were a rich man, I'd love that song. Sorry. Yeah. Fiddler on the Roof opens starting Friday night. There are performances Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I believe Saturday has a matinee. Correct?
I think so.
And then the next weekend, the 11th, 12th, and 13th, same thing. Evening performances are at 7:30, matinees at 2. Tickets are available on the Opera House website. There are still good seats available. They are starting to fill up. I was checking them yesterday. There are still good seats available, and there are still some of the lower price seats available too. Now, you've been doing some filming.
Yes, I've Sue and I went to the dress rehearsal. We filmed some things for promotional uses and pictures, and it's an amazing production. I mean, I've seen Fiddler before, and this production of Fiddler is just amazing. There's several scenes that are going to surprise people. I don't want to spoil it.
No spoilers.
Don't spoil anything, but it's just they've taken Fiddler to another level.
Awesome.
It's really amazing.
So definitely, if you're interested, get your tickets. Support the performance. It's these people have been working. They've been rehearsing since January. Like every weekend and evenings and
almost every day they're doing something in the
and the set. I mean, if anyone went to town meeting, you got to see the set. Yeah, we definitely had the most interesting town meeting backdrop. Put it that way. And then this Saturday is the 7th annual Central Elementary School Rockin' Ham 5K. There's still time to enter. You can register. They'll be doing registration from 9 a.m. to 10:15. The race starts at 10:30. It's 2.5 kilometer loops, so it's a loop race. If you don't want to run the race, if you don't want to walk the race, they're still selling raffle tickets, and up on the screen you can see all of the raffle prizes. Again, this fundraiser is like the main fundraiser for Central Elementary School to have like discretionary income, money that they can spend on things that weren't in the budget. If a need comes up, they have some funding.
Right. And available. They can do fun things too.
They can do fun things like take the kids on trips other programs that might come up. Sometimes there's things that come up that just weren't budgeted, but, opportunities come up for programs to happen with the kids. Now, did your girls, were they in school when you did the Center School 5K?
A couple times. I don't want to give my time out or if I finish.
It's quite a race. Last year, and I think it's going to be the same thing this year. Last year, it was so cold. It was cold and rainy, and it was so cold. And these little like Sprite of children, these little teeny weeny children, they must have been freezing, but they're walking around with their just t-shirts.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing.
And then the fun thing is I think that'll happen again this year, is that the Walpole school brings over their team. They're called the Thunder Chickens. And there's like a little rivalry between the Central Elementary School and the Thunder Chickens. So the Thunder Chickens come and run in their race, and then when they have their big race over in Walpole, the kids from the elementary school. So it's a good community event.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping these short because we do want to talk a tiny bit before we get into talking about Terrier Hall of Fame nominations. We're just going to give a recap of the meeting,
right.
Town meeting, and then who won.
And it's quite a change.
It is. Things have flipped. Some things stayed the same. Some things flipped. So, first of all, town meeting. I went to town meeting, even though I can't vote in the town. But like we were talking ahead of time, you own property in the town. I have an interest in property in the town, family house. So it's interesting that we're directly affected, but we can't vote, which is interesting. I hadn't thought of that conundrum before because it directly affects like what you pay for water and sewer, what you pay for taxes on the house that you own. But anyway.
So you're having taxation without representation.
Exactly.
I'm having a revolution
That's
about
it. I'm having
this.
a revolution in Bells Falls. I never thought about it before, but anyway, I went to the meeting just to keep up on mostly so that we had information for here. So it was really well attended. I just want to say that's awesome. I'm wondering if Laurel and Steve, remember they were running that intro to town meeting. I wonder if that helped. I'm thinking that it must have helped that to get some people there, because there was definitely faces that I didn't recognize. They actually were there with coffee and cookies, which was nice. They had a little bake sale going on. So the town budget did pass. It was interesting to see that it's still voted on in the meeting, so it's still totally the democratic process. And I will just run down the list of winners. I'm only going to list the contended races, because the people that didn't have anyone running against them, they pretty much won. So for select board, there were 2 seats open for a 1-year term, and the folks that got those seats were John Dunbar and Bonnie North. For the public library, there was only 2 seats open, but I guess there was a pretty good write-in campaign too. But the two people that were on the ballot, it was Martha Rowley and Michael Sola. And then for Rockingham School District Director, that's a big flip. Rick Holloway won that position. In the very vocally engaging on Facebook.
Really?
This particular. So for the folks that were running for school director for the Union High School district, there was a lot of campaigning,
a lot of chatter.
So the folks that won those seats were Christopher Hodson and Kim Keefe. And then for Union, and they were 1 year terms out of 2 year, finishing a 1 year term, I think is what those two are. I haven't got my glasses on, so I can't. And then for the actual 3-year term that was open for school district director at the Union High School level was Paula Bohoski. So congratulations to everybody that won. Congratulations to everybody that put their name in the hat, because that's
really important.
That's a big thing. There was definitely some folks that were on the ballot for the first time. So kudos to you for putting it out there. And then the Rockingham School, the town of Rockingham School District, that budget passed as well, because that was discussed at the Rockingham School District town meeting, but the budget is voted on Australian ballot. So the Union High School Terrier Pride nominations are now open for Terrier Hall of Fame.
Yes, it's time. That's that time again that every spring we look for nominations for the Terrier Hall of Fame. They opened up at the beginning of, I believe, maybe middle of March, but we're looking for nominations. They close April 30th. But we're out there trying to get the word out there that we're looking for nominations.
Do we have the graphic? Can you put the graphic up, Alex? Because that has a QR code on it.
Yeah.
And
what I did was I'll read through this as well, but like the nomination process, this is strictly from our bylaws. So what does make somebody have that criteria that you could nominate somebody? And this is how it's read word for word. Nominees must have demonstrated outstanding contribution to the proud terrier tradition and exhibit high moral character. Terriers are more than athletes. Terriers are scholars, artists, musicians, care providers, farmers, patriots, and so much more. In addition, nominees must satisfy one of the following requirements.
Okay.
So one thing that we do want to get into, and I've got a little quiz maybe for you guys or the people watching. But
I love quizzes.
The Hall of Fame,
Jeopardy.
when you think Hall of Fame, most people will think, okay, we're talking sports.
Right.
Okay. And we do have our fair number of athletes in our Hall of Fame, but they've also done more than just athletics. So these criteria that you have to meet, at least one is you must be an alumni from the Bells Falls Union High School or Bells Falls High School, and must be out of school for at least 10 years.
Okay.
Okay. Coaches must have a minimum of 10 years of coaching in the terrier community or developmental youth programs in the Terrier community. So again, not just high school, the Terrier community. This Bellows Falls,
So if you like
Saxons
big
River,
Pee-wee football or-
Pee Wee football, Little League baseball.
Okay.
Any kind of program that helps. If there's a program out there for music, band, theater, stuff like that. It is not just sports.
Okay.
Okay. Faculty must have a minimum of 10 years employed within the WNESU. Again, not just the high school, but because those younger levels feed up to
Of course they do.
the higher. And then community members must have a minimum of 10 years involved in the community, in the Terrier community.
Oh, interesting.
So,
'Cause
yeah.
I don't know if you've read. Maybe you.
I don't know if I have or
I don't
not
think you
before,
have.
No.
but I was
That
able
clarifies
to
it,
print this
yeah.
out because that's the word. We want the word out there that we are not just a athletic Hall of Fame. I am lucky enough to be one of the members of the Terrier Hall of Fame. I will not consider myself a great athlete at all. I am a member of 2 state championship teams, but it's not just athletics. So, quiz time.
Okay.
All
And
right.
this will prove that we are not just a athletic Hall of Fame. Brent Leasai, what do you think of when you think of Brent Leasai?
So Lisa's market, but I'm guessing he was on a football team.
And I think a fireman myself.
Fireman, there you go,
Yeah.
ding, ding, ding. What else is Brent really involved in?
Oh, you got me.
Fireworks.
He's definitely fireworks. Right?
Fireworks.
Oh, right.
Oh,
I was thinking, well,
yes.
he provides food every time someone needs it for like a
Yep.
funeral, or
You're-
or when they have
absolutely.
fires. I know they go in and they make
Yeah.
sandwiches.
Yeah.
So so he's
Yeah,
got a lot
so
of different-
again, he may have been an athlete, but really
Yes.
when we think of Brent Leasai, giving to the community, to that Terrier community, that then feeds up to the high school. Stan Budzik.
I don't know him.
Okay.
Neither do I.
So this goes out to you
You got
people
me.
watching. Stan he was a transportation director for the high school for many years.
Okay.
Drove school buses, allowed the kids to fan up the buses, put the names on it,
Oh,
decorate,
nice.
stuff like that.
Nice.
Mary Lou Masuko,
Middle school teacher.
Yes.
middle school teacher,
Art.
right? Art,
Yes.
right? Garden
Community. I was
program.
just gonna say community
Garden
garden. She
program.
got that garden.
So
program
again,
going.
getting kids involved and people involved for the Terrier community. Linda James.
Linda James. She was probably. I'm gonna guess
Well, she was on our board for a long time.
She was on our
yeah.
board. I'm gonna guess she was very involved in Pee Wee. Probably
Pee-wees,
part of
yeah.
the. Was she one of the original ones that was part of getting that little
The chuck
little
wagon.
shed?
The
Yes.
chuck wagon.
Okay.
Remember the old food truck that
the
they
food truck
had?
that now has
Yep.
become a
That's a building.
A building, yeah.
Yeah. She's also big in the Booster Club, right?
Booster Club. That was the
Yeah.
word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hugh and Betty Haggerty.
Just everything.
Correct.
Rotary
yeah.
district president,
Yeah.
Hugh superintendent, Betty's in women's club.
Correct.
They volunteer. I think Betty would volunteer in the school to go in and read. Hugh, I mean, just every
Exactly.
aspect. But they didn't. But they. I guess this is where it's interesting because I didn't think that it went to anybody that didn't necessarily grow up here, and they didn't.
Correct.
They didn't.
Yeah,
They
that's
didn't grow up.
Here.
Linda James is a
Is she from Fall
Fall
Mountain?
Mountain graduate.
Oh no!
But
Not Fall
again,
Mountain.
she's given so much to the
Yeah.
community. Barb Comtois, right?
Oh my gosh.
Teacher, not involved in athletics.
No.
Virginia Corson,
Oh, she is. She
Booster
is the
Club.
Booster Club lady.
right? I mean, she doesn't have kids in the school anymore, but she gives. You go to a football game.
But she had
she's
good
there.
athletes.
Yes, she
She
did.
did.
She did.
Her kids were. all
I
good
put
athletes.
down a name because I went on our website today, and on our website, so if you go to the Bellows Falls Union High School webpage, and you go to the community tab, there's our link to our page. I can't give you the direct address link because it is
complicated. I did that.
but
It's
it's free.
It's
but
funny
it's
that-
free.
Funny that you said that
be
because I
complicated.
literally wrote notes. And what you just said, Bellows Falls site community
Yeah.
tab, Terrier Hall of Fame.
So if
because
you
can
go
see-
there, you go to we're on Facebook, Terrier Hall of Fame. Join and like us. We got I saw today we got almost 600 people following us.
Oh, good. That's where I found the really cool the
Yeah.
graphic.
But I went on and I remember Jean Blackador, and I don't know if you know Jean.
I do. I had her in.
I
I
didn't
had
No.
her in
One of
high
my
school.
favorite teachers of all time. She's in the Hall of Fame
Nice.
because it's not just an athletic hall of fame.
She was just one of those teachers that was involved in everything.
Yes.
And one of those teachers that really, I'm not saying teachers don't now, but one of those teachers that really cared about her students.
And I remember going back, I mean, she had me come in 2 years when I was a freshman and sophomore to talk to the seniors about the transition of going from high school to college. But just that's just a short list of some people. And when we think of their names, we don't think of, wow, they ran for a 1,000 yards and and 10 touchdowns. Caught that that touchdown in the blazing, pouring rain to win the state championship. Some of them may have had it, but and that's what we want people to understand, that the Terrier tradition goes more than just on the field or the court. It goes into a community, and that's kind of our goal. Is we want to honor people. So back when I was a senior, that little senior that was the vice president of the student council that met with Mr. Coyne to start this off, that was our goal. My original goal when I started this as a senior in high school was I looked up to Mr. Coyne. He lived 2 houses down from me, and I knew at that point what he did for this community and for the school and
for individual kids.
He was not the hardest teacher.
No.
I had classes with him, and I remember I had government and politics classes with him. I would say it wasn't the hardest, but I got the most out of it because I had him as a teacher, and I thought, how do we honor people like him?
So he was fun though, because what you just did, that little quiz, I can remember every once in a while he would do these little, like little trivia quizzes, but they were directed to what he was teaching you. So it was like taking the stuff that you were learning and putting it into like Jeopardy, game type thing.
I remember
like
those
facts and fiction.
yeah.
I don't remember what he called them, but that was fun. I don't remember any other teacher doing like taking the topic that they were teaching and applying it in a way that made it fun.
Yeah.
Like that you wanted to learn that. You wanted to know that fact. Yeah. You wanted to know that date or whatever.
And I can remember him. He was really heavily involved in Pee Wee football. Of course, I lived 2 houses from him. Good friends with his daughter Jen, still am, and I can remember him bringing home as we were little kids the Pee Wee football gear and letting us put it on with the helmets and out in front yards hit each other stuff like that. Yeah. But that was the goal. Like we need to honor the people that have done well for our community, and places like Pee Wee football builds into that too. And whether it be music programs or theater programs or women's clubs and stuff like that, they all filter to that high school. Because if you go on class night, all those organizations, and it's just amazing the amount of dollars and cents that this community gives to those seniors, and even post-seniors too, because some give more than just their...
Yeah, they do.
And so it's just the community that we live in, and I sell photocopiers for a living. And one of my best consumers are schools. And I do really well with schools. And when I talk to people, they go, "Oh, you're from Bellows Falls?" "Yeah." "Oh, well, I'm involved in alumni and stuff like that." You guys do, like, they can't understand how well we have our community when it comes to things like class night, alumni, old home days, stuff like that, even in some of the bigger cities.
Yeah, I think that, and we talk about this kind of as a theme sometimes on the feed, that when there's a need in this community, and it can be in all different aspects, it seems like somebody always steps up. And I don't know if that's, I guess we take it as the norm, but I don't know if that's the norm.
I don't think it's the norm anywhere else. I think Bellows Falls is very unique in this respect. I was taken because I wasn't raised here, and I didn't. I moved here in the '80s, and I've always been amazed at the level of community support, involvement, and just the level of community.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's just as a community with a capital C. It's
when the Hall of Fame started, I went to the school board and I went to the administration, and we asked for $0 and cents. It went dormant for a little while. We came back. We have no funding from the school itself. We are totally rely upon donations. And our team has done a fantastic job where we are financially independent from anybody.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We don't have to go.
So you're not beholden to anybody.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have a huge budget. We get plaques and stuff like that. But we don't have to go to somebody and say, hey, will you pay for this? We've got that from donations and stuff like that.
So to make sure that people know where to go, they're going to go to the Bells Falls Union High School website, which is Google
Yes.
Bells Falls Union High School. Then you'll see a community tab, drop-down menu, Terrier Hall of Fame,
Yep.
and the application is available there.
Yes.
Okay.
Applications are available online. You can fill online, submit online. You can print, mail. You can
Hand deliver.
hand deliver, any kind of that stuff. Like you said, Facebook page, QR code, all that kind of stuff. Nominations wrap up on April 30th.
And you're going to come back this summer to give us.
Yes, we like to do
That's
the
right.
unveiling again
Yes.
here in the summer. And then again, we will have a banquet in the fall. Usually it's in conjunction with Terrier Bells Falls homecoming.
Okay.
But the other key piece to that is when that happens, we'll get that information out. It is open to any and all people. And
Wonderful.
usually we try to keep it like $10 type of, admission
Tickets.
fee, and it's a really fun time.
Good.
So.
Great.
Awesome. Thanks,
Well,
Chad.
thank you
Well,
for coming
thank you
on,
for
Chad.
having me on yet again.
And we're going to go to a clip, and we're going to switch guests, something we don't normally do.
I know. New and unusual on the feed.
Thank you. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you.
So yes, that's turkeys in my front yard. Believe it or not, it's that time of year. They come every morning. They strut around. I don't know. The males are just.
They're just males, right?
They're males. They're males doing male things, and they're pretty crazy. I love the colors though. They look almost metallic when you see them in the sunlight. Yeah, pretty cool. Claudio,
Yes.
thank you for coming. This is Claudio Veliz. I think I said that right.
Yep.
And he's joining us today from the Southern Vermont Astronomy Group, and he's going to talk us a little bit about the upcoming solar eclipse, which is it's the big news, once in a lifetime event.
Yeah, well, thank you. That intro goes right to one of my concerns. There is a bit of a popular misunderstanding about these. We actually see some form of eclipse as many as 7 times a year.
Oh, really?
Somewhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
The once in a lifetime aspect is if you don't want to move around. So
If you want to stay in Vermont.
if you want to stay in one place, anyone,
Oh, yeah.
you stay in one place, wait long enough, a couple thousand years, there will be a total
really?
eclipse over it. Yeah, but the next one, for example, is in just a couple of years, goes down through Greenland, Iceland, Portugal, and Spain, and that's a total solar eclipse about twice as long as this one. So they are everywhere,
Wow.
and it isn't a once in a lifetime event if you're willing to travel.
Oh, okay.
That's the asterisk.
Do you travel? Have you experienced many solar eclipses?
Yeah, I've seen quite a few of different sorts. This may be, if I'm successful, see what the skies do. They're being a little iffy right now,
Yeah.
here and there. But this will be absolutely my 4th total solar eclipse.
Wow.
And then I've seen annulars and partials and so on. By the way, that word partial, that goes to another misconception, that if you're where 98% of the eclipse is, that you're seeing 98% of it, that's completely untrue. There are 2 different experiences. If you're not in the path of totality,
Yeah.
you will not see totality, period.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And if you're not in that path of totality, you won't see, you'll have an entirely different experience, even at 98, 99%. As long as some portion of the disk of the sun is visible, you will not see any of the corona at all.
Oh, interesting. Because I was
All-
just reading that we're in the 97% or something
Right,
here.
and when someone unfamiliar with these events hears that, they say, oh, I just stay here and I'll see 97% of the eclipse, no problem. You will see 0% of the eclipse. You'll
Interesting.
see 97% of obscuration of the disk of the sun, but there's still more than enough light to keep the sky close to daylight. It will get dark. Don't worry, it'll get dark. But if you're in the path of totality, it won't just get dark. You'll see a night sky around the eclipse. You'll see, there are 4 planets to see: Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus, and then a bunch of stars, and maybe even a comet during the period of totality. If you're at 99% of that,
You won't
you will
see
not
that.
see
Oh.
anything.
Oh, I did not understand that because I was thinking, well, we're close enough, but I still won't. I
Exactly.
still am not taking chances and going to northern Vermont.
And on that point, as far as travel is concerned, the Armageddon image we have is that 100 billion people are going to be driving their SUVs up there. But if you stop and think about it, it's one thing if you have 100 million people going to Woodstock, to one point on the
Right,
geographic map. But people are going to be spread out over
Over that
thousands of square miles. And yes, you're going to have hot spots probably around Burlington, maybe Middlebury, things like that, because that's where hotels and inns are. So everyone's going there is committed to those rooms and so on. All you have to do is go out into a back rural road, and you may very well be alone to watch it. So, and that's the other thing I advise people is, if you're driving up there, and certainly when you're driving back, that's going to be the worst part, because everyone's going to want to flush out of the area to get back home for work tomorrow on Tuesday morning. Take back roads. I don't mean dirt roads. We know what dirt roads are like in Vermont this time of year. Don't do that. But the 2-lane paved state highways and the hard pack roads, absolutely, because
91 and 89 are going to be packed.
they're going to be a mess. Yeah, I mean, just do the basic statistical math. If you're going on 91, for example, you've got 2 lanes to deal with, right? If you're going on one of hundreds of state highways,
And
You've
there's
got-
always you can get there from here if you know the roads.
if you know the roads, or Google Maps. But here's the other thing: is that there are 2 aspects to that. One is you're sharing hundreds of lanes instead of 2 with all these people. That's number one. Number 2 is, if it does get crowded, you have a lot more exits from secondary highways than you do on one freeway. You may have to wait 12 miles of moving at 2 miles an hour
To get off your exit.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. So anyway, those are some of the basic things.
Tell us a little bit about the Southern Vermont Astronomy Group, though, just in general.
I and a handful of others founded this about almost 20 years ago now.
Really?
Based mainly out of Chester, but thanks to COVID, we are now technically worldwide, because we're doing all of our meetings, which are second Tuesdays of every month, 7 o'clock typically. And we have a website. If you look up Southern Vermont Astronomy Group, the website has a calendar right on the front page, and you can see what's coming up next, that sort of stuff. But We are fundamentally a science education organization. We lecture at schools, we do hands-on projects. A number of us speak about a number of astronomical subjects. And there are certain members who are specialized in certain areas, such as archaeoastronomy, which is a refer or a review of historical efforts by the human race to understand what those dots in the sky were and how to measure them and so on. And we have another member who is expert at astrophotography. He's quite good at this. He was teaching over in New Hampshire for quite some time, and he did some excellent lectures. And then we, as I mentioned, we have some hand-on things going on. On Monday, if I can do a quick plug, I may or may not be there depending on the clouds, up in Wethersfield, and the details are on our website. In Wethersfield, we're going to have a public gathering with what's known as a hydrogen alpha filtered telescope. So if we can see the sun at all, we'll be able to, with that filter, we'll be able to, and all very safe, of course, we'll be able to see the granulation of the surface of the sun, where the convection currents bring the hot stuff up to the surface and they broil and then go back down. And you can also see what are known as prominences around the perimeter of the disk of the sun using that telescope. We'll have a couple talks and some hands-on stuff and so on. Activities.
And that's this coming Monday?
This coming Monday.
The same day as the eclipse?
As the eclipse, to watch 98% of the eclipse.
But not totality.
But not totality, yeah. So
but
that afternoon.
The telescope lets you see things that...
The telescope allows you to use the telescope anytime. It's a purchase we made with a grant that the organization received. It's a rather specialized, expensive telescope. But it will be available for everyone to look through with some guidance. And you can see the construct of the sun quite safely, and it's really quite lovely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where in Wethersfield?
It's in Proctorsville, but it's in what used to be the old schoolhouse along... Anyway, the details are on the website. I can't remember exactly where it is.
It gets confusing up there anyway,
because there isn't one central metropolis. It's a bunch of little houses and so on. Yeah.
Well, cool. That's amazing. And then you do other things throughout. There's other hands-on things you do throughout the year, or?
Well, we very often, we'll announce them on the website, as I say. One thing that we do, for example, is we have a couple of spectrometers where we can look at bright reflections off of clouds or white cars or something of sunlight, and it breaks the sunlight up into its constituent parts, and you can actually see that. And we pass it around. We talk about how that works and so on. That's one example.
Yeah, that's great.
And then, of course, we have what are known as star parties, which are publicly available, where people can go and look through real live telescopes and look at real live celestial objects.
Nice.
And those again are noted depending on the sky conditions. Those are noted on the website as well.
Yeah.
So,
great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
I would like to right now invite you back to where we could do a longer show, because this is fascinating.
I'd be happy to.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
And I think that's it for this week. We'll see you. Enjoy the eclipse, and enjoy, if you don't get to the eclipse,
safely.
Enjoy the 98%.
Right, yeah, exactly. One way or the other.
And that's it for us this week. See you next week on the feed.
Bye, community.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Local news, politics, business, sports, arts, music. My dad.